Welcome to Diary Create, a podcast where I share behind the scenes of starting and growing my creative business, but at the same time, trying to juggle everything else like my hobby, sports, family, and also being a mom, and how to keep creative in all that chaos. I am very excited about today's episode because today I will be talking to a creative business owner who is juggling so many things in her life, and I would love to learn how she keeps creative and what is she doing. Today, I have a wonderful guest, Ali. She's the founder of Inspire Styling. Ali helps women to feel good and comfortable in clothes that suit them. And I really love the supportive and caring vibe in the way you talk about the styling, in the way you present different topics and ideas on your Instagram profile, where I have seen, I think, most of the videos where you talk about the styles and some tips and tricks. Hi, Ali.
Hello, thank you. What a great introduction.
Can you share a bit about how you decided to start your business? So, what made you to start this side hustle? What was this thinking process behind? Because I know that having a side hustle is a very buzzy thing nowadays. But I also know that it's very hard, especially when we work full time or we have a lot of other commitments. How did you decide to actually give it a go and try and can you share a bit more, please?
Sure. So I was made redundant. I'd been at my company for almost 10 years and I had a bit of an identity crisis because my identity had always been interlinked with my work. I felt like my wardrobe was an overwhelming place and a depressing place. It was a jumble, a mix of hand-me-downs, charity shop bargains, impulse purchases. And I discovered the concept of color analysis and had my colors done as a client myself. And it was transformative. It was an absolutely amazing process. I loved all of the suggestions. Many of the colors I already wore myself and had recognized as colors that suited me, flattered me. But it was just so great to have that sort of almost like a structure, a kind of a guide to help me refresh my identity and start feeling me again. So I started to look into it a bit more deeply, and I really wanted to learn the process myself to be able to help others go through the journey that I had. Because I had been made redundant, I had a bit of time on my hands, and so I had lots of time to research how to set up a business. And I researched the company name. I upskilled myself, taught myself all that I needed to know about colors, read loads of books, scoured the internet, followed people on social media, registered my business, and then got offered a permanent role back in marketing, which I decided to take for financial security. Obviously, when you're starting out on your own, who knows whether you're going to make any money? Who knows whether you're going to get any clients? So I love the idea of building my business in my free time, evenings and weekends, whilst also having the security of a full-time job.
Yeah, I think this is a very smart move because when you have a good security, a financial security, you can make right decisions in your business. You can focus on the important things.
It is hard because you're always on. So you're full on with family life, you're full on with your paid employment, and then you're cramming into the rest of your free time, all that you can do to nurture and grow your business. But because it's for me, and I'm building towards the future and I'm really passionate about it, it's not a chore. It's not something that I regret doing or feel resentment about. I'm really willing to put in that time and that effort to see my business grow.
How do you make sure that you have enough time for everything that you would like to do? So, as you mentioned, the job commitment, the family commitment, and how do you find time and how do you allocate the time so that you are not hopefully too tired of doing it all? Or how do you prioritize things?
Yeah, it's challenging, but I try to carve out pockets of time where I can. So I always get up an hour before everybody else in the household, and that time is purely for me. I'm very much a morning person. I'm very productive, so I blitz through things that I need to do for inspired styling. Um, I then use my lunch breaks. So if I'm in the office, luckily I'm based in a town centre, I will go out to fashion retail shops. I will research clothes that might suit my potential clients. I'll take photographs. I'll be generating content for my social media platforms as well. And then in the evenings, when I get home from work, obviously, the kids are the first priority, and getting all of the sort of household up to date. And then when they're in bed, I carve out a bit more time. And usually in the evenings, I'm a little bit more tired. So I focus on the more creative parts of the business. So I might be designing a lookbook, which is my styling guide that I share with clients. I might be designing that on Canva. I might be researching colors, or I might just spend the time responding to emails, posting comments on social media in response to questions and comments that I've had from my followers. So I try to just flex the day according to my energy levels and sort of what I know works best for me. I also make lists so that I have certain tasks that I want to achieve every week. For the bigger projects, I will set a schedule, and it will be a week by week structured goal of everything that I need to tick off. And that worked really well for me when I initially started up the business, because I had several big chunky tasks to get through, logo design, setting up the website, doing all of the business registration with Companies House, etc. But now I tend to just keep a more focused kind of weekly list. And that means that whenever I get a bit of free time, I can just quickly look at the list and work through bit by bit what I need to do. I also find that family time and time for my side hustle is a little bit blended and a little bit blurred. So, for example, if my children are at soft play or at the trampoline park, whilst they're busy kind of running off doing their thing, I will just grab 15 minutes and get on my phone and answer any urgent queries that need to be dealt with. I'm lucky I have a really supportive partner. So we take turns at the weekends to get up with the kids in the morning. And instead of me having a lie in, I use that time again to work on my business.
It's I know that when you start your business, most of my mind at least is thinking about what should I do, how can I do it, and you mentioned that you have a very supportive partner, and I think it's one of the keys that help to move forward, to develop. Do you also outsource any of the business activities, or you are for now the only one covering it all?
For now, it's just me. I'm running everything. I would love to get to a point where financially I'm able to outsource things. Some of the things that I'm finding particularly helpful, which aren't quite outsourcing, are signing up. Whenever I see a guru, an expert on social media, for example, signing up to their newsletter, email lists, helps me because it provides inspiration direct to my inbox. Particularly on social media, if you are generating content to try and grow your following, it can be incredibly time consuming, but signing up to experts who deliver the latest trending audios or ideas for new reels straight to your inbox kind of really shortcuts the process.
Thank you. I was wondering, how did you get your first client in your business?
So my very first client was my mum, bless her. She has been hugely supportive and has been a real inspiration. I got my love of fashion and my love of sewing and upcycling and textiles in general from her. She taught me to sew. So yeah, she was my official first client. But then since then, I have been incredibly successful at networking. So joining up to lots of groups, particularly on Facebook, particularly other mums who are starting their own businesses or nurturing their own businesses. And I think the reason that my business has struck a chord with them is that we all go through different phases in our lives, and there are certain trigger moments when your personal style really kind of takes a back seat, and then you look to regenerate and refresh and breathe new life into your wardrobe. And I think that particularly has struck a chord with people who are in that community. They've come out the other side of the early years of motherhood and are now looking to really identify what their style is and build confidence as well, because it can really help you if you know the colors that are going to be flattering for you, that are going to make you feel energized and more alive. So yeah, the business community has been really supportive, and I'm a huge advocate for supporting and celebrating other women in business as well.
It sounds very interesting because I know that when you are becoming a mom, most of your wardrobe is something comfortable, something that you can wash every day because it's get dirty very quickly. And or if you're always outside somewhere, you need something you need something that you can put on very quickly and go outside with your little one. And then just out of habit to search, I think it's just out of habit to search for something stylish, something something that you like.
And the two don't have to be mutually exclusive, because you can still feel comfortable and feel confident in what you're wearing as well. But like you say, we get into the habits, we pull for the comfy leggings or the stretchy jeans. But yeah, there are ways to incorporate those in your looks, dress them up, accessorize them, use some different colors just to breathe a bit of energy into your wardrobe.
Yes, definitely. You mentioned that your mom was the first your first client, and I also read on your website about your the highest fashion moment that you have done your own wedding dress together with your mom. It's a very it was a bit shocking because it's such a big project, I would say. How did you thought of it, and how did it all go?
It was a huge, ambitious project, particularly as I wanted to keep it a secret from my husband, so he didn't know that we were making it. And I don't live next door to my mum. I'm about, an hour and a half from my mum. So we had to coordinate visits very carefully together. It never actually entered my mind to go wedding dress shopping. It was just something that I wanted to do. I wanted a unique, one-of-a-kind look. I ended up with a Grecian style. So we bought a pattern to follow, but then customized that pattern. So I added an asymmetric neckline and some detail on the bodicing. And I loved it. I really, really loved the dress. The whole experience, obviously, of a wedding day was fantastic. And it will be a memory that I will treasure forever, having embarked on that project with my mom.
I think it's definitely a good memory. I once heard that the wedding is not just the day that you get married with your partner, but it's also everything that you do before. So if you have this great experience of preparing for the wedding, it's also part of the wedding that you'll have a lot of memories. It can be either something very stressful, which it partly it is, but it also can be something that you would love to remember. And I think what you've done together with your mom is something that something very beautiful to remember.
Thank you. And I think also having photographs that you can look back on, and whether you're a wedding guest or whether you're the bride or groom or bridesmaid, feeling amazing and seeing that happiness shining through on the day of the event is a really nice sort of treasured thing to look back to.
Definitely. Thank you, Ali. And from my perspective, I always find that I'm constantly thinking about my work. I do work quite a lot of weekends as well because I try to catch up, especially in the very beginning of the business, when you have so many things to do, and it seems that there is a never-ending list of to-dos when you start freelancing, when you start your business. I think it's at every stage of the business. Do you have any tips that help you to stay organized, to have some rest, to stay creative and in the creative field? Because it's something that is particularly interesting to me as well, because I know that when I don't have rest, when I'm stressed out, I don't get as many creative ideas. But yeah, do you have any tips that help you? I would love to hear about them.
I always try to listen to my body. If I'm feeling physically exhausted, then I stop. It's time for rest, and it's really important to get a good night's sleep so that you can do it all again the next day. Also, listen to your moods. If you're just not feeling it one day, there's no point spending hours trying to push through it. I find I'll work 3 times more efficient and be more effective with the output if I just park it and come back to it another day. And I also think it's good to reflect on things sometimes rather than rushing to finish a job just so that you've got it done. It's better to put it to one side and revisit it, because sometimes when you come back with a fresh perspective and review it, you can actually really quickly see easy ways to improve it. I also have a bunch of really supportive friends who are always there for me. They'll see something on social media and they'll send it to me as inspiration, or they'll kind of help me with what I'm doing, give me second opinions, and I can use them as a sounding board as well. So just feeling like you're sharing the journey with other people who are supportive and really rooting for you, I think helps to lift that mental load.
How do you find, is it easy or tricky to work from home, where usually you're busy with other things, to work around your family, around your kids? How does it work for you?
My kids are always telling me that I'm always on my phone, and I find that really hard because I obviously want to be present as a parent, but I also try to explain to them that I am working towards building a business where in the future I can work more flexibly, which means that I can spend more time with them, take holidays whenever I feel like it, pick them up from school earlier, etc. So it's hard, and there is obviously that mum guilt is there. The other thing I try to do is get them involved. So my youngest daughter in particular, she loves filming. She records herself. She invents little blogs, and she follows herself around the house. So I actually put that to good use and give her the camera sometimes so that she can film me, and we can get involved together.
And my daughter is 3 years old, and she's asking me to take her to the filming. And I say, I'm going to film a lady today, the whole day. She's like, can I come with you? Can I come with you? Yes, maybe next time.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you kind of want to involve them and you want them to share that passion that you have and that excitement that you have for the business, but then on a practical level, they can't do everything. So I love crafting and upcycling, and I filmed myself this weekend dyeing my wedding shoes so that I can continue wearing them. They've been sitting in the cupboard for 12 years. My daughters wanted to help with the dyeing, and my first thoughts were, oh, really? They're going to completely mess it up. They're not going to be able to do this accurately. But just giving them a little taster of it, not involving them in the whole process, but just giving them enough to feel like they're involved was satisfactory. They were okay with that.
Is it the one, the reel that you have with the purple ones? They look good. I like it. I like it.
Yes, I love them. I can't wait to wear them. I need to hint to my husband that we need to go out on a date night just so that I can wear them.
And we usually say that we wear our wedding gowns just once, but it's actually a great way to make them fresh and to wear them many, many more times.
It's so unsustainable as well, just to spend money on something or, resources on something that's only going to be worn once. And that's something I'm also really passionate about in my business, is encouraging people to shop at charity shops, look on eBay, pre-loved clothes. You can get some really great quality stuff. I think the temptation is to see that personal styling is all about having the latest trends, but actually I think that style is trendless, and you can source sustainably, and it can have a really positive effect on your budget as well if you shop smart.
And I also guess that when you know what you want, is it a bit easier, or is it harder to find anything actually when you go to thrift stores or when you try to shop pre-loved clothes? Is it what's your experience with that?
I find it easier because now that I know exactly what shades are in my color palette, charity shops often merchandise things by color. So you can go in and you can dive straight into the rail and see if there's anything in your color. And I think it also helps prevent you from making impulse decisions that you're going to regret later, because it gives you more of a structure to your shopping habits. So you aren't tempted if you see something and grab it just because it's 50% off. You're making the right choices for your wardrobe, for your style, that you can ensure are going to have the longevity. And the other thing about getting your colors done is that everything in your palette goes together. So all of the shades coordinate well, which means that everything in your wardrobe is really hard working because it all goes with everything else.
And I think I definitely have been in this situation when I think I had something specific in my mind that I liked, and I remember I think it was a blue color or something like that, and I remember I was only buying something blue when I was seeing it in the shop, and then I realized that after some time I ended up with a full wardrobe with just blue clothes, and I was wondering how can I actually make it something interesting out of it. So I would say having a little bit of a plan or a guide is something that definitely helps you not to buy multiples of similar clothes and just having the same thing every day.
Yeah, just to get some inspiration through, I might suggest a certain color to you or a certain shade of a color to you that is not on your radar at all. But just having somebody suggest that may give you the confidence to go out and try it.
I was wondering if for those people who would be interested in learning a bit more about the personal styles or the color analysis or body shape analysis, how would they be able to find information about what you do and what services do you offer? And maybe some tips from your side. Can you please share what you do and how people can find it?
My website is inspired-styling.co.uk. And there's lots of information on there about all of the different services, from color analysis to body shape styling. And on social media, so particularly on Instagram, but also on Facebook, I'm at Inspired Styling, no punctuation, no full stops or hyphens. And on Instagram is where I tend to post the majority of my content. So I include lots of inspiration about tips for particular body shapes, color ideas, just general thinking and musings about style, and uncovering different ideas to give people thought starters when they are perhaps opening their wardrobes and feeling bored or feeling stuck in what they're wearing. I'm not a personal shopper, so I don't go out and select actual items or recommend specific clothes from specific retailers, but I try to give a really accessible set of recommendations for people that they can easily find at any high street store, because I think it's really important to be accessible. There are lots of people on Instagram who are promoting high fashion looks that are just outside of the budgets for many of us. And I want people to be able to enjoy getting ready, be excited to get dressed, and hopefully give them a little bit of inspiration on the way.
I think when we love how we look, it gives us a bit different mood, and it lifts up. Or when we go, for example, to an office job, when we are wearing some smart clothes, we feel a bit more professional, I would say, even though nothing changes from the time we wake up to the time when we are in the office, in terms of our knowledge and experience, but we can feel a bit more professional, more energetic. So definitely it's something that can lift us up in the morning when we know what makes us feel comfortable or feel excited. So it's definitely something that can enhance every day.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we beat ourselves up about our bodies, about the way we look, and the media creates a perception that there are all these perfect bodies, perfect figures, people that look incredible. That's just not real life. But if I can help people and they get up in the morning and they get dressed and they look in the mirror and they're holding their head higher and they're holding their shoulders back and they're really feeling like they can take on the day and win, then I feel I've done a good job.
It sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ali, for joining the podcast, for sharing your story, for sharing some insights. And I'm glad that we discussed quite a lot of things about the style, about how we feel when clothes are comfortable for us specifically, about how you grow your business. It's something that's interesting personally for me and as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina.